team, but not so. A disabled Pastorini, Jim Plunkett is back, using his weapons wisely, like that pass to the speedster Cliff Branch. And this incredible play, 4th down, seconds left against San Diego. Pass to Raymond Chester, tied the game. And there is still another weapon acquired in a trade with Houston. The young man from Oklahoma, number 33, Kenny King. So Oakland, as always, is a dangerous, challenging team. But tonight, they've got to go against Bradshaw and a partially disabled Franco Harris, who may or may not see action. But even that doesn't matter, because the weapons are limitless for Terry Bradshaw. With Stallworth disabled, with Swan disabled, there is still a new one. Number 86, Jim Smith from Michigan, a brilliant receiver. Tonight, the Oakland Raiders against the Steelers.
We're live from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Oakland Raiders against the Super Bowl champion, Pittsburgh Steelers. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevy Trucks and your Chevrolet dealer. New 81 Chevy Trucks, an important step ahead. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Lanier Business Products, creators of the No Problem electronic typewriter. The typewriter that does more than just type.
Hello again, everyone. It's good to have you with us. We're up tonight. I'm Howard Cosell. We're bringing you the greatest pro football rivalry of the 70s moving into the 80s. The Raiders against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You remember the 70s, the immaculate reception of Franco Harris, the George Atkinson hit on Lynn Swan, the resultant lawsuit. These teams don't like one another. But Oakland, off its victory against San Diego last week, is established this team can beat anybody on any given day. And as far as the Steelers are concerned, beleaguered by injuries. Maybe without Franco Harris, more about that later on. And certainly without Stallworth, certainly without Lynn Swan. So the problem belongs to the impeccable quarterback, the powerhouse, Terry Bradshaw, which is exactly why the old Dan DeRue spoke to Terry today.
Strong possibility you're going, well, I know, you're going into the game tonight without Stallworth, Swan, and Harris. Now, don't cry, but tell me, how do you feel about that?
It doesn't bother me. We can roll right with that.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to be
sure.
It's not funny.
No, it's not
hey,
funny.
I actually got tears in my eyes.
If I took a couple of those offensive linemen, we'd really cry.
Lord, we've lost them, but I got this attitude, by golly, just let's line them up and let's keep on going and keep our fingers crossed. That's kind of the way you do it. You can't.
Well, you do.
You can't worry about something that you have no control over.
But you might try to maybe call a different kind or a different style of game. Do you think you'll see yourself doing that, maybe?
I haven't changed the passing game, even though we lost Stallworth and Swan, and because I've got great receivers.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one Franco Harris. When you take him out, you have taken out the bulk of our running attack.
Well, he's going to make it. I don't care what you say. One thing he did mention, he's still got that good defensive team working for him. The team they play tonight, Oakland, as Howard mentions, good football team. They can make it. He's going to miss Franco. He's not going to be in there. He's not going to start. He may come in if they have some injuries to the other players that are there. Frank, I want to know a little bit more about Oakland. Now, these guys have come along. They've won 3 ball games. What are they going to do tonight?
They're playing a great defense. Last week against San Diego, they sacked Dan Fouts 7 times. They're playing like the Oakland Raiders used to play. There's some fascinating stories around this Oakland Raider team. They traded Dave Casper this past week. I'm sure you read about it, to the Houston Oilers. They traded Kenny Stabler there during the offseason. But more than importantly to me, there's a very human interest story with the Oakland Raiders, and that is the comeback, the second chance for former Heisman Award winner Jim Plunkett. He'll open at quarterback tonight. Danny Pastorini, of course, traded to Oakland in the straight-up swap for Kenny Stabler. is out with a broken leg. So another shot for Jim Plunkett, one of the greats. At Stanford University, great with New England for 4 years, traded to San Francisco and cut loose in '78. But he has another opportunity tonight. Okay, let's go over to Howard.
All right, Frank, this is a key game and the standings prove it. The AFC Central. Pittsburgh, again, always in a dogfight with Houston and Cleveland, and Cincinnati still not to be discounted. And then the AFC West. San Diego hanging on by a game over Seattle. A win for Oakland tonight puts them right in the chase. Now, let's get the game started with the Giffer.
And so many great games over the past decade between these two teams. There is no love lost between them. They come out to play. Many of the players have changed, but the feeling it always, well, it sort of filters down from players that have been here before in these great contests. As you can see, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won the toss. They've elected to receive, of course, set to kick off. Chris Barr, another great story. Chris Barr kicks, of course, for the Oakland Raiders. His brother, Matt Barr, kicks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're looking at Frank Pollard, a rookie from Baylor, 11th round draft pick. He's dropped deep for the Steelers. And a kickoff time is 46 degrees, expected to go down into the low 30s today in Pittsburgh. But a beautiful night for football, sellout crowd, and we're underway. Chris Barr bangs it. Pollard steps up to the 2, looking for his wedge. And a big opening for Pollard as he bangs out over the 30-yard line, getting up to the 33-yard line. And let's meet that offensive unit. Of course, Terry Bradshaw, perhaps the best quarterback to come along in many, many years in professional football. Franco Harris, we are told, will not start. He possibly could play. There basically are two rookie running backs. Greg Hawthorne, number 27. Russell Davis, number 45. We've told you about the wide receivers. There's an offensive line yet that has never come together for the Steelers this year, beleaguered as they have been with many injuries. But the Steelers, 1st and 10. The ball at their own 33-yard line of Bradshaw, immediately to the air. Firing, and it goes to Theo Bell, and Theo Bell has a first down out over the 45 to the 47. Theo Bell in there in place of Lynn Swan. It was Burgess Owens defensively for the Oakland Raiders.
Two things I think this does. It kind of verifies what Terry said. It's not going to affect my passing game that much. He has great confidence in his wide receivers. Theo Bell just went down around a very simple sort of turn-in route. Terry, a little quick fake-off tackle. First down of the game, picked him up a first yard. First down, that's what it was, first down.
Theo Bell in there for Swan. That was only his 13th reception in 4 years as a pro with the Steelers. Again, first down. Quickly, it goes out to Greg Hawthorne. Hawthorne with a big opening. Breaking tackles down to the 37-yard line. The Steelers suddenly striking on 2 first down completions by Terry Bradshaw.
Typical of Terry Bradshaw as you have an end zone look. Starting throwing the ball. Don't waste time. Establish what you can do immediately, and he can do it better than anyone.
We were watching a game yesterday over to his house, and they were throwing that little swing pattern. It was Philadelphia and Dallas throwing it out the outside. He says, you know, that's the pass that we've got to use more because it's so safe. He says, and I've got guys that can break those tackles on the outside. That time they did exactly that.
Raiders in their 3-4 defense. Bradshaw keeps it on the ground. This is Greg Hawthorne, and defensively, Ted Hendricks sliding across number 83. He's having a great year for the Raiders thus far. Matt Millen, the rookie from Penn State, was also there. There is the 3-man front. We will not try and give it to you every time because they change according to the situation. They'll bring in Willie Jones. They'll bring in Cedric Hardman, the 11-year veteran, as we look at the secondary. Of course, the Oakland Raiders have also been hurt by injuries. They've lost Monty Johnson, their fine inside linebacker for the season. They've lost Bob Nelson at linebacker. There was a loss of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Bradshaw again to the air. Lots of time, looking deep, and he overthrows Smith, who was open. Smith was open in front of Mike Davis, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, 14.
And you saw Terry Bradshaw a little bit annoyed with himself because he knew he overthrew him and he knew he had him there. And he doesn't do that often.
I think his intended receiver was covered. You saw he had plenty of time to throw. That was one of the things about the 3-man rush. They didn't get good pressure on him. He moved around a little bit. Smith was open, but it was an adjustment to the original route call. But Terry was disappointed, I think.
3rd down, 14. Another wide receiver comes in. That's Calvin Sweeney, a rookie from USC, first-year man. Came up with the Steelers a year ago, injured reserve for the year. So it'll be Sweeney, Jim Smith, and Theo Bell. Referee tonight is Pat Haggerty, and the Oakland Raiders did not like their defensive set, so referee Pat Haggerty indicates timeout called by the Oakland Raiders. Tom Flores, in his second year with the Oakland Raiders, looking on as defensive captain Ted Hendricks moves to the sidelines, and we'll be back.
I make one trick shot in a light beer commercial, and everybody thinks they know how to shoot pool. So these guys decided to take me on to shoot a little pool and drink a little light beer from Miller, because it's less filling.
Tastes great!
Less filling.
Let's quit talking and start chalking.
You break, Bubba.
Sure, I haven't broken anything all day.
Hey, Mickey, what happened?
It's a mystery to me.
You show him, Rodney.
Yeah, show him.
You guys got me all wrong. I think light tastes great, too. But when you're shooting pool, the only thing you want to get filled up is the bottle. 14 in the bowl. 6 bowl. Combination.
Steve, how do you do that?
Practice, practice, practice.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Chuck Noll, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, came in '69. This, of course, his 12th year, looking for a 5th Super Bowl, 3 consecutive Super Bowls if they can win one this year. Of course, they beat L.A. a year ago, Dallas the year before that, and they won Super Bowls 9 and 10. They call this the season they want one for the thumb, meaning they would like to get another Super Bowl ring to fit the thumb.
It's part of a sickness that he's never been named Coach of the Year.
That's strange.
Who votes for those things?
3rd down, 14. Oakland gets their defensive alignment straightened out. Bradshaw back. Bradshaw firing for a field goal. He steps in there behind Monty Jackson and comes up with the football.
What an
First down inside the 20. Jackson stepped in for the interception. The ball was behind him, and Theo Bell makes a great catch at the 20.
Oh, that was Monty Jackson, who is certainly no slouch in the secondary. It was just terrifically alert play by Theo Bell. Terry got a little pressure back there, you'll see. Jackson staying right on him. Theo goes for that ball. He says, I'm climbing after it. I know where it is. Heck of a reception. My golly, 3rd down and a big one.
When you said Jackson was no slouch in the secondary, you're exactly right. We'll develop the story of the Oakland secondary in a moment.
First down 10. The ball just inside the 20-yard line. Bradshaw again on first down to the air. Looking for Smith in the end zone. Touchdown. Tim Smith makes his 7th touchdown catch of the year. Smith has stepped in for Stallworth in the second week. He has been spectacular, and the Steelers have moved for a touchdown on their very first possession.
They look awfully sharp so far. That passing game, they haven't run much. He indicated that in that opening little interview. He says, it's not going to affect my passing game much, so he's going to go at it. These guys are terrific.
He was really frightened by the opposition, isn't he?
Well, I think he knows what he can do. I've never, you know, I've known Terry for a good long while, but this is his 11th season, and he does have tremendous confidence with what he can do on the field, and he knows his personnel well. He's got great confidence in all of his receivers as Matt Barr kicks the extra point, and it's 7-zip. Jim Smith came in. You know, you've got Stallworth and Swan, the receiver. How in the world are you going to say, I want to go play for these guys? But here's a guy from Michigan, as we talked about.
Working against Don, the man that the Oakland Raiders feels is their best defensive man, one-on-one, Lester Hayes.
Frank, did you see Smith leap in the manner of Lynn Swan? Almost exactly like him. That's the way they are. We'll be back in a moment.
The Boeing Company announces good news. Good news for air travelers. People looking for bargains in airfares to vacation spots throughout the U.S. and all over the world. There are low family rates this time of the year, special stopover plans, round-trip savings, and off-season tour values. So go in a fast, comfortable Boeing jetliner. Go while it's a real buyer's market. There's no telling what the price of things will be next year.
Look! It is such a big world. See! All the places and the faces. Feel! All the loving and the laughter. Bringing us together. And we'll see the world feels a whole lot better when the people and the world all get together.
So fly now. These kinds of values in the air won't last forever.
The world feels a whole lot better when we all get together.
Saturday on on NCAA college football. A doubleheader afternoon of the best in collegiate action at a special early time. Check local listings for the NCAA games in your area, starting at 12 Eastern, live on ABC.
Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the Steelers have struck suddenly their very first possession. Terry Bradshaw in a brilliant display of passing to his depleted receiving corps. You would never know it. Matt Barr puts it in the air. Hiram Matthews settles in, but is taken by Arthur Whittington at the 8-yard line. Whittington finds an opening down the sidelines, and this game is exploding early as a flag goes down, and Whittington goes down out at the 37-yard line. Arthur Whittington brings it out to the 37, clipping indicated, against the Oakland Raiders.
As the penalty is measured off, Giff, you said this game is exploding early. Al Davis, the managing partner of the Oakland Raiders, who is one of the smartest men in football without question, regardless of legal suits and all the rest of the extraneous matters, has said if I have 3 more players, I'll be back to being an outstanding team. What does he mean by that? He means an explosive player on offense to back up Kenny King should he be injured. Let's listen.
Cooking, number 53 on the run back.
The call. He means an explosive player on defense, particularly in the linebacker department. Frank has already told you about the absence of Marty Johnson. And he means 1 more all-purpose player who can rise to the occasion. But they're close.
A clipping penalty has moved the Oakland Raiders back close to the 15-yard line. This is a handoff to Kenny King. He's bobbled the ball. And is picked up there quickly and bobbled by Donnie Shell, who made the recovery. And let's see who has it. Donnie Shell has the ball. He says, we've got it. Looking over to the bench, Donnie Shell, who is always around that football, whether it be in pass coverage or in recovering fumbles. He's recovered many of them over his 7-year career.
That's the point, Frank. He's always around the football. He is not the best one-on-one pass cover in the game, but he is the hardest tackler of any strong safety in the game. And you just saw him do his thing around the football.
Yeah, Cliff Branch saved a touchdown right there. Cliff, if you're going to make a mistake, don't make it around Donnie Shell. I saw Plunkett. Basically, he fumbled the handoff, the snap from center a little bit before he made that handoff to King, so maybe that caused the fumble too.
Rocky Blyer slides in as a setback for Bradshaw, who's had a tendency to throw on first down. This time he hands off inside to Blyer, and Blyer just explodes down to the 7-yard line. Hit there by Mike Davis, and the Steelers are ripping the Raiders early in the game.
Rocky Blyer, the great Vietnam War veteran, the star of a movie coming out, Fighting Back, played by Bob Urich.
Good block right there in the middle of the young middle linebacker, Milken. They've been saying he is doing a good job for him. Matt Millen, the man they got him that time. Good quick trap on the inside.
That was Ray Penny, the left guard of the Steelers. Stepped around the center, Mike Webster. Good trap block. Inside handoff now to Russell Davis, the first-year man out of Michigan, who's in there for Franco Harris tonight. Davis, a 4th-round draft pick a year ago, and missed the entire season with a broken arm. And he got the call to start tonight.
Interesting you mentioned Ray Penny, the great All-American center from Washington, the angular one, with the body that is so strong and yet looks at the same time so fragile, so versatile, can play center, guard, tackle, one of the key people, though unsung on the Steelers team.
We saw Tom Flores looking on. He would hate to get down 14-0 to the Steelers. It would be tough to come at. Bradshaw with all day, finds Theo Bell in the end zone, and now they're saying no, he did not hold on to it. He had it in his grasp and could not hold on.
He did have some time to throw, didn't he?
And he did hit his receiver.
Yeah, he said, look, now, wait a minute, guys. Let me just look here for a minute now. All right, you're not open right now, but keep running. Somebody keep moving. He spots Theo. Theo made a move. He saw the defensive man move. Should have had the ball, of course. It was up a little bit high, but he's got it.
Great play by Jackson. He just put a hand in there and knocked it away from him.
As he had a touchdown. If Jackson had not been there, you're right.
3rd down and goal as Chuck Knoll looks on. He said last week his team is complacent. He said everyone has told us we have a great second string. Now we have to play them. Let's see how great you are. And of course they were knocked off by Cincinnati. They've been knocked off earlier in the year by Cincinnati, and people are asking questions about the Steelers. 3rd down goal for Bradshaw. Again, a lot of time. Randy Grossman short of the goal line. Hit there by Burgess Owens. It'll be 4th down, inches.
A decision coming up for Chuck Noll. If I know Chuck, there's Terry. He wants to go for it, but Chuck will probably want to put the points on the board. I know Chuck Noll, and he's right. No matter, you don't coach the way the fans want you to. You coach the way the game dictates, and Noll knows how to do it.
Ordinarily, I'm going to go with you, but when you say that Ray Penny is fragile at 6'4" and 250, I've got to consider that again. He's fragile looking?
Yes, he's been in the baseball booth with me.
Okay.
Right here at Three Rivers Stadium.
Matt Barr, 18-yard attempt, chip shot, puts it through the uprights, and the Steelers have a 10-0 lead with 9:27 remaining in the first quarter. The Pittsburgh Steelers, plagued by injuries throughout the early going of this young season, have exploded to a 10-0 lead over the Raiders. We'll be back in a moment.
Introducing an important step ahead for 81, the new Chevy pickup with new aerodynamic styling and a new trimmer weight, but with a strong Chevy truck frame and massive girder beam suspension. A smooth-running, high-mileage 6-cylinder engine for better EPA mileage estimates than last year. The same big, roomy cab and even more payload, plus new sleek looks. From the ground up, the 81 Chevy pickups are an important step ahead.
Chevy trucks, an important step ahead.
Foreign oil. We know the consequences. Higher prices, political instability. So America is working hard to reduce our dependence by increasing the use of our own energy resources. At Westinghouse, we're using our technology to get more energy out of coal and nuclear. And we're working on solar, fusion, fuel cells, and other renewable sources to serve our children for generations. Westinghouse, a powerful part of your life.
Saturday, it's the new sound and the new fun that's sweeping the nation on the Nashville Palace.
Terry Bradshaw with control of the Steelers has pulled them to a 10-0 lead. The Steelers now set to kick off. It'll be Matt Barr, of course. Deep is Ira Matthews and Arthur Whittington. Matthews number 43. That's Whittington number 22. The Steelers would like to keep it away from Matthews if they can, and they successfully do. This is Whittington who bobbles the ball at the 5. Got some speed. And the Steelers swarm Whittington under at the 15-yard line. Dennis Winston down there early for the Steelers. Let's meet the offensive unit. At quarterback, of course, Jim Plunkett, number 16. A great story in this game. Given up really after the 77 season with the 49ers, released. The Raiders brought him back. And he, of course, started last week in a big win over the San Diego Chargers. Raymond Chester, of course, is the tight end. As we look at Dan Pastorini, who damaged his knee and broke a tibia bone in his leg against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. Of course, Pastorini came to Oakland in a straight-up swap for the Raiders' longtime quarterback Ken Stabler. Plunkett from his own 15-yard line. Inside handoff. Mark Van Egan swarmed under defensively by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also will alternate considerably defensively, primarily at their right tackle spot where Gary Dunn and Steve Furness alternate. Let's take a look at the front four of the Steelers. There they are. It'll be 67 often coming in there for Steve Furness. There are your linebackers. Probably none better in the business than number 59, Jack Ham. And that secondary, well, they have one of the fine cornerbacks in Mel Blount, number 47. Van Egan picks up a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. The ball at the 16-yard line. Plunkett puts Chandler out to the right, and will go to the air. Plunkett has the time, and he goes to Chandler. Good defensive play by Johnson, and a flag is down, and we are probably going to have pass interference. 2 officials on that target.
Let me tell you something about Chandler, ladies and gentlemen. They got him from Buffalo. He's a long-time veteran, and he is the kind of player.
Defensive pass interference, number 29. First down.
There's the call. We'll look at it again. And he's the kind of player that Fred Biletnikoff was. Had he been with the Raiders all along, he might have had a reputation somewhat akin to Biletnikoff's. He doesn't have the great speed, Don. You know that. You know him as well as anybody alive. But this guy knows how to get loose.
That defensive play you saw by Johnson was one he made contact a little before he got to the ball, so it was a good defensive call.
Ball at the 46-yard line of the Steelers as Plunkett back on 1st down. flag is down as Van Egan collects the ball and moves for a gain of 9 down to the 37-yard line. But again, a flag is down. And if you saw number 53, Dennis Winston, he is in there now at middle linebacker for Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert, number 58, has come out. He is being treated on the sidelines. And the Steelers already hurt in so many positions could ill afford to lose Jack Lambert. And you can see he is having a knee wrapped. And we're going to get the call. It'll be holding.
On the number 59 on the defense. Holding. Number 59.
It is called holding against Jack Ham.
Lambert will play if he can stand. And if you count the Raiders out of this game, you're crazy. This team is well put together. Maybe counted out much too soon because of that man, Jim Plunkett, who's back.
Last week, Plunkett 11 of 14, 164 yards in a big win over San Diego, 38-24. If Oakland could win tonight, they would stay within one game of the Chargers, who got up so quickly this season. The penalty was declined. The Raiders wanted the yardage, so it'll be second down and a long 2 as Van Egan gets the first down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, collected there by Robin Cole, 56, and Dennis Winston, who stays in the game as they continue to work on Jack Lambert on the sidelines.
Don, interesting the way they use their backs. Kenny King, the big breakaway man, but Winnington with an odd capacity to make the big play from your school.
Right, you know, he brought some speed. They said they need some speed in that backfield. And when Arthur came in a couple of years ago, he did have that breakaway speed that Oakland hasn't been privy to for the last few years.
Chandler, 85, top of your screen, the motion man, as we see him come out of the backfield. Kenny King, and on first down, Plunkett to the air. Plunkett trying to go to Cliff Branch, and one of the best in the business at man-on-man coverage was covering Branch, man for man. That, of course, Mel Blunt.
Frank, I said I was going to talk about the Oakland defensive secondary. 10 former Oakland defensive backs are elsewhere in the league. 5 of them very important, 3 of them Pro Bowlers. And why did so many have to be let go? The longevity of people like Willie Brown, George Atkinson, Jack Tatum.
They were there for so many years. Of course, it's a different story now for the Raiders. Second down 10. Plunkett looks over the Steelers defense. It was Joe Green offside. You saw the flag, and Kenny King tries to make use of the free first down. King ambles for about 8 yards, and I believe we're going to have an offsides call against Joe Green of the Steelers.
I think they got Dirt Weston a little riled up out there already. But Kenny King did make a good effort. It was, you see that happen a lot. You know, a flag or a penalty has gone against the other team, and the team know there's a penalty down there, so they let up a little bit. He rambled in there, almost picked up a first down.
Would you take the penalty?
Let's see how far he got. I think I would not take the penalty. I believe he's about a yard or so
8 yards.
away. Yeah, I think I'd take that play. In talking to the Steelers, you know, they're not used to losing at all. Let's see what this official calls.
Offside, defense, declined.
The defense, though, they've really been proud of. They said they've really, you know, Lambert, for example, is averaging like 10 unassisted tackles a game. So they think they've been playing well. Their plan going in against Plunkett was to maybe blitz a little bit more, throw a bit more pressure against Plunkett. Although he's been around for a while, he really has not had that much game experience in the last few years. So I think you'll see a strong blitz against Jim.
Penalty decline. Oakland takes the 7 yards. It's third down and 3. Ball at the 27-yard line. King gets the call. Big opening on the outside. Look out.
There's that speed they want. There's that speed they want. We got a ball game.
King in for a 27-yard touchdown. Turn the corner. You saw the size of the man. He's up there around 2'5", 2'7", and yet he can really crank it when he wants to.
What a trade by Al Davis in getting Kenny King. You got to give him credit as you look at it again. I told you if you thought Oakland was out of it, you're crazy.
You know too much. I'll tell you what they did that time. They caught Ham on the inside. Donnie Shell didn't really, I don't think he realized how fast Kenny King was. He got him to the inside and bounced out. A lot of that was done on just sheer ability. Good speed to the outside by Kenny King.
Last year, Kenny King with Houston carried the ball 3 times. Playing behind Earl Campbell, of course. This is Chris Barr. And Chris Barr puts the Oakland Raiders back in the game. They're down by 3. We have 7:22 remaining in the first quarter. And there is Kenny King. 138 yards last week, and he's off to another start tonight. We'll be back in a moment.
I learned to drive in an old Model T that belonged to my dad. We counted on Pennzoil to take care of the engine. Today, Pennzoil does even more. Because now it saves gasoline. Pennzoil has added gas savings to its regular multi-weight oils. And they've done it at their regular price. So you don't have to spend extra money to get extra miles.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
I'm Joe Duncan, State Farm agent, Cincinnati, Ohio, speaking for thousands of State Farm agents around the country. You know, there are a lot of reasons why people come to State Farm agents and stick with State Farm agents year after year. I think one of the big reasons is service. State Farm built its reputation on service. People expect it, they are paying for it, and we deliver.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The Oakland drive, aided and abetted by a 39-yard defensive penalty against number 29, Ron Johnson, working against Bob Chandler. Set to kick off. This is Chris Barr, the brother of Matt Barr. He hangs it high. It'll be Pollard who takes it at the 5-yard line. Frank Pollard, the rookie from Baylor. And this time, Pollard goes down at the 22, and a flag goes down with him as Derek Ramsey was down there defensively for the Raiders. There's Frank Pollard, 11th round draft pick.
I'll tell you, he's some player. He is a lowercase Robert Newhouse. Same style, same build, isn't he, Frank?
He is, and they were able to get him cheaply in the 11th round because he missed most of his senior year with an injury, a broken jaw. And here's our call by Pat Haggerty.
Personal foul, clipping number 72 on the return, first down.
Clipping call, working against the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, the Steelers begin at their 11-yard line. And Bradshaw hands off to Russell Davis. And Davis turns the corner, gets out over the 15 to the 16, a gain of 5. It'll be second and 5. John Matuzak was over there hustling from his defensive end position. And I'll remind you again, if you follow the Raiders, you know that they shuttle people in and out at all different times of the ball game, depending upon the situation. Matuzak will move to the inside. He will even at times move over into the middle, and then you will see Cedric Hardman, a longtime star for the 49ers, who is now a Raider, come in and play defensive right end. Browning will move to the inside. Complicated? Yes, it is. They had to call timeout in the first quarter because of it. Bradshaw fires to Smith, overthrows in front of Lester Hayes. Incomplete. Will be third down 4.
There's the shot of Franco Harris, who hopes to get in tonight. He may. Strained ligaments. In the meantime, an important series in its way. We often say that, Don. Bradshaw wanting to reestablish immediate dominance because suddenly it's gone back to Oakland.
3 wide receivers are in now. As you saw Randy Grossman come out of the lineup, Calvin Sweeney comes in, number 85. So we have Sweeney, Bell, Smith on what Oakland anticipates as a passing down for Bradshaw. Inside handoff to Russell Davis, and he explodes behind the blocks of Mike Webster and Tyrone McGriff, who is in there, a rookie starter at right guard out of Florida A&M. First down, Steelers.
I would like to think that that was an audible. I just looking up here at the old quarterback days, you saw the Raiders shift in late, trying to move into different defensive sets to maybe throw off Bradshaw, but they left that middle open. The middle linebacker, the big rookie that we've talked about, Matt Millen, moved into three-point stance. I would like to think that Terry called an audible and they trapped him.
Davis moved to the 28-yard line. First down, Steelers. They still have yet to punt.
Right there.
Smith is open. He bobbles but holds on, gets to the 45. Another Steeler first down. And again, working in front of Lester Hayes.
This is a pass pattern that I think a lot of coaches feel there's really no way to stop this pattern if you've got the receiver that'll go across the middle and the quarterback that'll throw right between those linebackers. Awfully hard to get somebody in there. It forces that safety to come up, play another position. It forces that cornerback to play him tight to the inside. Jim Smith came across the middle, made a good
Well,
catch.
that's the man he's got left without Stallworth and Swan. We said it in the start of the show, and he's using Smith to the othermost.
Bradshaw, 6 of 9, hands off to Russell Davis, and Davis finds a little opening, gets out close to midfield, but a flag is down. Davis with another pickup of 5, and you saw Ray Penny throw the flag back, and it's going to be marked off again against the Steelers.
You mean fragile Ray Penny? picked up that fragile rate.
250.
250, 6'4".
Hey, he's fragile compared to the Oakland offensive line. We'll run that weight down for you in a little bit. Let's get the call from Pat Haggerty.
Holding number 52, offense.
All-pro at center, Mike Webster. Having his difficulties, and he laid a hand on someone.
You're seeing a tremendous ebb and flow. What you're seeing is the best there is in pro football. The AFC with two of its very best teams. Don't have to tell you about Pittsburgh, but right now the AFC leads the NFC 15-5 in interconference play.
And Pittsburgh looks at a first down and 20. Quickly, it goes to Greg Hawthorne. Behind the screen, Hawthorne cuts back. And Hawthorne to midfield.
Really well set up.
15-yard pickup. It'll be second down and 5. Defensively, Randy McClanahan finally made the stop, and that was set up beautifully.
What they have to worry about with Hawthorne, as you know, Frank, is the fumble. It's like Sidney Thornton, Thunder Thornton.
Maybe we'll see at the top of the C-84, Grossman coming across the top from the other opposite position. Grossman comes in. He's going to throw a block down here in a minute. A lot of people say, you got Benny Cunningham. There's 84 throwing a block. Why isn't Benny Cunningham playing?
He's well enough to play, but Grossman is the secure player, and that's what Noel wants at this point in the season.
Somebody told you the same thing they told me.
Second down 4, Bradshaw rolling out. Looking for Bell, he's covered. Bradshaw, look out, Terry. Hangs it up and almost picked off by Monty Jackson, and Bradshaw was really level.
That's Big Dave Pear, Frank, that got him after a while. Pear, he had some time, did a little scramble, but when he stopped, set to throw, Pear kept pursuing and gave Terry a pretty good hit. There's a flag down, I see.
Another flag down in the field. Bradshaw coming into tonight's game, second in the AFC to Steve Grogan after 6 games. And let's look at the end of that play when Bradshaw really gets pounded.
This is the time the quarterback finally forgets about those guys. And Terry, as I think we have mentioned, has some sore ribs.
Ineligible man downfield. Number 55, ineligible man downfield.
Anytime you start running around back there, as long as Bradshaw does, some of your offensive linemen, figuring the ball has been released, try to get down to help out. At that time, John Cole was deep downfield. They moved the ball back inside the 41 of the Steelers. Second down, 14. 4:14 remaining in the first quarter as Rocky Blyer checks into the lineup, number 20, along with Russell Davis, number 45, and the Steelers on top 10-7. This is Russell Davis. Gets the block from Blyer, but he cuts back, and another flag is down as Davis gets to the 48-yard line. Hendricks on the stop. And the crowd is getting a little antsy about all the laundry being thrown by the officials. Holding this time against the Steelers, and they won't like that at all.
Well, they may not like it, but it's a matter of record that Pittsburgh is the most penalized football team in the National Football League, as well as the most fumbling.
And they've also punted less than the other teams.
That's true.
Yes.
Holding number 52.
Mike Webster having a little problem in there, perhaps with Dave Pear. Oakland predominantly tonight in their 3-4 defense, and of course Webster at a center spot working against noseman Dave Pear. Now the Oakland Raiders shuffle people in and out of the lineup, anticipating pass, and of course that is not all that heady because Terry Bradshaw is looking over a second down and 24.
But they got the 4 defensive linemen in there.
This is how they hurt San Diego a week ago, bringing the 4th man in. They bring in Willie Jones, number 90, a second-year man out of Florida State, and he really turns it loose. Bradshaw steps up. And hustling back on the pass rush was Willie Jones. We know he's quick. He was all the way in on Bradshaw and then turned around and made the stop on Bradshaw after a pickup of 12. It'll be third down and 12.
He didn't just make the stop, Giff, he buried him.
Willie Jones is not all that big, 245 pounds, but Oakland likes to bring him in on the pass rush, and he's very quick.
Fragile.
It was Joe Turkey Jones that really hurt Terry a few years ago up in Cleveland, and he's another fragile player there. You've got right, very fragile.
The 3 wide receivers are in. Out comes the tight end. So Calvin Sweeney, number 85, joins Jim Smith, 86, Theo Bell, 83. Third and 12. Ball at the 48-yard line of the Steelers. Flag is down.
Flag.
Bradshaw strong arms it towards Smith. Oh, what a catch! At the 10-yard line, a beautiful catch. He was running stride for stride with Lester Hayes. The ball could not have been thrown better, but a flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
It really was thrown well, but what a beautiful catch, too. Smith stretched out,
Oh, boy. Illegal procedure indicated against the Steelers.
A tough call. Let's look at the catch again.
Doesn't make any difference whether it counts or not. It sure is pretty to watch because it was a great throw.
Oh,
you saw.
did you see that move?
Yeah, he turned Lester Hayes, as we talked about. He's a terrific defensive back. Watch his head. Look at it, right eyes on the ball all the way. Reach out as far as he can reach out. If it had been another foot, he couldn't have caught it.
Funny thing is, a few minutes before we took the air, I was with Lynn Swan. Look at the penalty differential. Right there, that's why the game is only 10-7. But I was with Lynn, and he was wearing a brand new sport jacket,
yes.
By the way,
and
Don.
wearing what kind of cologne?
The kind you would wear, a cashmere. I said, when are you getting back? He said, as quick as I can move. I'm not letting Smith have another game.
Swanee, of course, out with a broken rib. 47-yard gain negated by a procedure call against the Steelers. 3rd down, 16, Bradshaw back. Crowded, and Bradshaw goes down in the arms of Ted Hendricks. The Raiders coming with their blitz, and one of the best in the business is this 12-year veteran, Ted Hendricks.
Well, you go to the well so often, and they're going to get you. Obviously, he's been going back to pass. It has put a lot of pressure on that offensive line, but you'll see Hendricks from the outside throwing a rather inexperienced Russell Davis off to the side, says, I'm going after Bradshaw. You got the wrong number on, Sonny.
Craig Colquitt hobbles out for the Steelers. I say hobble out because he was unable to kick last week in most of the game against Cincinnati. Had to run with the ball, sprained his toes and his left foot, but he kicks right-footed, so he's back in the lineup at the moment on 4th down. Ira Matthews is deep for the Raiders. Colquitt doesn't turn it over. It's a short kick. Matthews from his 37-yard line. And down goes Matthews at the 42-yard line. Webster was hustling down for the Steelers, and they say Oakland has got it back. 35-yard punt as the veteran Mike Webster was down there to make the stop on Matthews.
Bradshaw took over the punting jobs, Frank. You may have mentioned last week when Colquitt couldn't punt. So let's take a look at the end of this. Making a quick move into the inside is Ira Matthews. He is down, then fumbles the ball. It is recovered by Marvin Kopp.
And Oakland will have the ball at their 42-yard line. We have 2:40 remaining in the first quarter. 10-7 Steelers.
You see, Magic, what Buick learned from their new small cars...
They put into their larger cars. Right, Sue?
Yeah. So, for instance, in the Porsche Electra Limited, there's an efficient V6 engine.
And in the economical Skylark, there's plus room and comfort.
They've made their efficient smaller cars luxurious.
And their luxurious larger cars efficient.
So, in any size...
Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick?
In business, you've got enough problems. That's why I've got a Lanier no-problem typewriter. Now, no problem with my letters.
It's letter perfect.
No problem with math.
It figures.
No problem sorting records.
It files and never forgets. Even does line drawing.
In business, it's nice to have no problems.
It's nice to have a Lanier no-problem typewriter.
Lanier, it does more than just type.
The aerial artillery will explode Sunday when the Chargers and the Cowboys battle on a special Sunday edition of NFL Action on EDZ.
Sellout crowd at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There is Jack Lambert walking the sidelines. He has not gone back into the lineup. They were administering aid to his knee earlier. Jack appears like he wants to go back in, and he is indicating what it looked like to me as football players do. There's a little loose in there. And there is Dan Pastorini, quarterback of the Raiders, who was severely hurt against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. He has a broken leg, of course, out for the year. Meanwhile, Jim Plunkett has taken over, and Plunkett hands off on 1st and 10 to Kenny King. And Kenny King gets 4 up to the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Robin Cole, number 56 defensively for Pittsburgh, with number 23, Mike Wagner.
We still have 2:25 left in the first quarter. What a quarter it's been. 10-7 Steelers. And yet, at this point in time, one looks back at Pittsburgh mistakes. Their last drive had 35 yards in penalties, which is what held them back.
Plunkett looks over the 4-3 defense of the Steelers. They like the blitz, and they anticipated blitzing a great deal tonight. But this is Kenny King, and Kenny King goes down in the arms of Donnie Shell, one of the fine defensive players in football today. Came up as a free agent 7 years ago, made this team on special teams, really. Didn't become a starter. until 3 years ago, All-Pro last year.
Strained knee on Lambert. We don't know if he'll be back, and that could really hurt the Steelers. Could kill them. By the way, I think Donnie Shell's the best strong safety in football.
He is true. He's really tough, isn't he?
You mentioned that, Howard, about Lambert. Dennis Winston is in there now, number 53 on the defense, but he also has a chronic back problem, and they never really know how long number 53 Winston can go in any given game. 3rd down, 9. Plunkett looking over the defense, puts Chandler in motion. Out of pressure, but Plunkett eases out of it and fires incomplete, intended for Raymond Chester. He does not hold on. Chester, of course, a bit on the spot because this past week, one of the great Oakland Raiders, Dave Casper, was traded to Houston. And, of course, Chester is not any child in this game. He's been around 11 years, but the Raiders thinking, the word was they got a 1st and 2 second-round draft picks for Casper. They figure they can get 3 good players in the draft in the next 2 years.
And when would they get that kind of value again? And without going into personalities, Casper beset by a number of personal problems. I think a great deal for Al Davis.
And I started to add, they have Derek Ramsey coming up, and Todd Christensen, who they plan to convert from running back to tight end. This is Ray Guy. And this will be Theo Bell.
Good move there.
Collected at the 15-yard line, hustling down there, Otis McKinney, the 3rd-year man out of Colorado. Short week for everyone in pro football this year tonight, because we are going to be in Dallas Sunday, and what a game we have coming up. San Diego with Dan Fouts.
It's a
Dallas with Danny White.
It's a game Dallas must win after that loss to Dick Vermeil and the Eagles.
Yeah.
And yet the Chargers coming off Dan Fouts throwing for 444 yards against the Giants.
I think W.C. Fields would change his mind about Philadelphia this weekend, don't you?
I would
Things
think.
are going well in Philadelphia.
Yes, happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
Considering the circumstances. On 1st and 10. Bradshaw.
Whoa,
Smith wide open.
Love that kind of pass.
Over linebackers in front of the secondary. 1st down, Pittsburgh, out at the 41-yard line.
I don't believe Jim Smith.
Well,
it's no wonder Swanee wants to get back.
Not taking anything away from Jim Smith. A heck of a catch. The throw was really pretty because it was that deep throw dropped in the bucket over those linebackers in front of the secondary. Smith made a good move. A lot of teams don't even have this kind of pattern in their offense because the quarterback can't throw it. That's a tough pattern to throw.
Let me tell you, if Theo Bell had been up 3 yards and made a block, if they would have had a touchdown on the play.
3 receptions, 61 yards for Smith, including a 19-yard touchdown. Handoff in the 1st down. Greg Hawthorne, big hole again, and Hawthorne carries a Raider down close to the 45-yard line. It was Burgess Owens getting the ride, but it's another Pittsburgh 1st down at the 46-yard line as we head towards the end of the 1st quarter, and there it is. Explosive offensive game here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 2 of the great rivals in the AFC, the Steelers and the Raiders, will be back.
Laurel, Mississippi. Dave Holton might be having a heart attack.
I don't understand it. I felt fine all day.
Is the pain worse?
Yeah, it hurts. Watch the road, hon.
We're almost there. I think it's his heart.
Laurel's Community Hospital has an IBM electrocardiograph system with a built-in computer. Like conventional systems, it records patterns of heart activity. But unlike those systems, it analyzes and interprets the patterns quickly and prints a comprehensive report at bedside.
Oh, doctor.
Feeling pain now? Yes. I don't see any evidence of a heart attack. It might be indigestion. Sometimes the symptoms are very similar. We need to check you further. Can I see that, doctor? Sure. I'll try to explain it to you. See the slide right here.
IBM, helping put information to work for people.
Announcing an important step ahead. New Chevy Blazer, the big shift for 81. Now you can shift into four-wheel drive without stopping for the first time ever. The big shift for 81. Lets you shift into and out of four-wheel drive without leaving the cab. The big shift for 81. Chevy Blazer, with significantly better EPA mileage estimates than last year. The big shift for 81. A revolutionary new system from Chevy. Chevy Blazer, an important step ahead.
those numbers for Terry Bradshaw, and it's not even a lunch break.
Isn't that amazing? He's thrown a touchdown in his last 12. This is 13 games in a row. He's also thrown an interception in every one of those games. So hey, we have still some other things to look forward to.
He's got a string of 13 games going.
Yeah.
That he's thrown for 200 yards or more. The best in the business. Bradshaw looking over at 1st and 10. The Raiders 46-yard line. Inside handoff, Hawthorne. And Hawthorne finding gaping holes in the Raiders line, moves for 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. And let's take a look at the stats for the first quarter.
First quarter stats. Pittsburgh obviously dominant in first downs, in rushing yardage closely and passing yardage overwhelmingly, total yards overwhelmingly, and clearly time of possession belongs to the Steelers. Can't believe Hawthorne tonight. How are these kids from Baylor coming on, Don?
Well, I'll get into that because it's kind of they got Pollard really when they were down there looking at Hawthorne, and now I think they're pleased with both of them.
I should think.
Yeah. 2nd down 4, the ball near the 40-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Raiders staying in the 3-4. This is Hawthorne. Hawthorne tripped up by Matuzak, stumbles forward for a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it 3. Randy McClanahan finished off Hawthorne after Matuzak had moved along the line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you, John Matuzak has given a little solidity to this defensive unit of the Oakland Raiders. He has really matured, and he has had a much traveled and interesting career.
Typical of an Al Davis team, the reclamation projects who come through. Matuzak, the best evidence.
73, number 72, the first man picked in the NFL draft. We'll tell you more about him as Bradshaw looks over his 3rd down and 3, the ball at the 39-yard line of the Raiders. Hands off to Russell Davis. Davis trying to carry Raiders forward to a 1st down. I believe he'll be just short.
Now what do you do, Don?
Is it 3rd? 4th down coming up?
Yep.
Well, if you're going to play those odds that you're talking about on the 1st down thing, I would say right now he'll go for it. I don't. Now let's see, that'd be like a 50-yard field goal. I would say he'd go for it.
Yard markers come out. Mike Davis came up there from his strong safety position. He's been playing well for Oakland. He made the stop and is short of the 1st down. It'll be
a pretty good little way to go, though.
I think it's beyond Matt Barr's consistent range.
I think so, too.
I would go for it.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to go down there. If you punt, if you have a terrific punt, maybe you'll pick up 30 yards. I mean, if you get inside the 10, maybe you picked up 30 yards. Here, I think they really would like to, as you said, maybe reestablish what they opened up with, and that was a strong offensive surge. You saw the statistics, so they've been moving the ball pretty well. And you know what? They're going to go for it.
Russell Davis, 45. Greg Hawthorne, 27. His 4th down. You saw how much?
Got offside almost.
Steps inside. Davis easily has the 1st down. No flags down. And Davis inside the 35. The Steelers have a 1st down, and back comes their offensive unit onto the field. The short yardage offensive unit comes off.
Frank, you watch the Steelers, you wonder where they come up with all these players. They pick last every year.
They got one right now where they picked absolutely last, Tyrone McGriff. He was the last guy picked in the draft, number 61, starting at right guard for him.
Florida A&M.
Well, he actually went to Canada, as a matter of fact, and played and got cut up in Canada. And they called him from Hamilton. They said, hey, we got a good player here, but we have a limit on how many Americans we can have up here. I think this guy can play for you, and he does.
Bradshaw again on 1st down. Over the middle is complete. And inside the 20-yard line goes Benny Cunningham, the tight end, the big one, who really cannot dislodge Randy Grossman at the tight end, but he does see quite a bit of action. Great football player out of Clemson. He's big, 6'4", nearly 250 pounds.
Look at it again, Don.
You saw his statistics. He'd only caught 4 passes coming in here. Randy Grossman only had 9, so that's, let me figure that out real quick. 13 coming in here for the tight ends. That's a low number for a team that with 2 good tight ends, but they use them primarily for blocking. Go to those outside receivers.
Oakland stays in the 3-4. It has not been able to pressure Bradshaw, but Bradshaw sends Davis off the left side behind Ray Penny and John Kolb, and he moves all the way down to the 7-yard line where it'll be 1st down and goal. And Russell Davis filling in for an injured Franco Harris, whom we were told could play if he had to play tonight, but he is suffering from a knee injury that bothered him against the Cincinnati Bengals a week ago, so we have not seen Franco Harris tonight.
really fooled Dave Browning on that last play. They gave him some moves to the outside. He went with it. They ran right inside him.
First and goal. And this is Hawthorne. Right side, a sprint to the corner of the end zone. And he does not get in. They'll mark it inside the 1, however. Mike Davis up there with the force from strong safety for Oakland.
But how quickly on the prior play, Frank called John Kolb for you. When John is in there, and he's been out a couple of weeks because of an injury, you'll get that typical Pittsburgh quick trap. And Kolb was right in there, leading the way, number 55. Great play.
Strongest players in all of football. Well, you've heard a lot about bench pressing. Well, he just breaks the weight machine, does John Kolb. He actually has missed 5 games. Kolb with a very severely sprained ankle, but he's back in there tonight, and he's helping the Steeler offense. Second down, less than a yard to go. Hawthorne hurdles into the end zone, and the Steelers have scored once again. And what an offensive show you're seeing tonight. The Pittsburgh Steelers, playing with a lot of injured football players, have moved the ball almost at will up and down the field.
And they know they have to win tonight. Chuck Noll really gave it to him. He said, you played 1 quarter of football against the Bengals. We've got to get back to playing football. Frank told you earlier, you second-string guys, you're going to have to prove yourselves. Right now, they're doing a long way to go, though.
Here's Matt Barr. The punter, Craig Colquitt, is the holder for the Steelers. Barr drills the conversion. And the Steelers extend their lead over the Oakland Raiders in one of the oldest rivalries we have seen in the AFC. They do not like each other. We'll be back in a moment.
Roll on in, America, to Sears First Automotive Savings Rally. Save 10 to 40% and get some of our lowest prices of the year on tires, shocks, batteries, and much, much more. There's heavy-duty jumper cable, $7.88, save $5. A battery charger, $29.88, save $10. A floor jack, $44.88, save $25. At the Sears Automotive Savings Rally. Don't miss it. Sears, where America shops for value.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car without stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith, watching the patched-up Pittsburgh Steelers put on an offensive show here in the first half from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Steelers on top 17-7. This is Matt Barr to kick off. Ira Matthews is deep for the Oakland Raiders. This is Arthur Whittington as Barr continues to kick away from Matthews and Whittington out to the 30-yard line, and the Raiders move their offensive unit out onto the field. Oakland Raiders again with Jim Plunkett at quarterback. And what a story he is. Heisman Award winner in '70, came up #1 draft pick in all of football. 3 solid years, actually 4 solid years with New England. Traded to San Francisco for 3 #1 draft picks, a 2nd-round draft pick, and quarterback Tom Owen. Never put it together for the 49ers. They released him after the '77 season. The Oakland Raiders signed him in '78, and they said, we don't even want you to play. Get your confidence back. And last week, he was scintillating in a win over the San Diego Chargers. Jim Plunkett on 1st and 10 to the air. Plunkett.
Good moves. Good
dancing out of the pocket for a pickup of 7 yards out to the 38-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and 3.
I don't care if it was only 7 yards, Don. That was a great play.
It truly was, because #1, he saved himself a loss, a sack for about 4 or 5, made some good quick moves there. Very agile. Hopefully not fragile, but very agile.
You know, you just have to feel for this man. You'd like to see him come back. He came up a year after Terry Bradshaw. And, of course, Bradshaw has gone on to all the fame and acclaim. Well, this man was suffering through what had to be 3 miserable years in the life of a football player.
Wasn't he a great college quarterback?
Heisman Award winner at Stanford.
He just could really think. He was so pretty. Look at that. Good run up the middle.
Van Egan gets the 1st down, and the workhorse of the Raiders offense for the past 5 or 6 years gets the 1st down out to the 47-yard line, taken by Mike Wagner. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations around the country identify themselves.
This is KATC, TV3 Lafayette.
Oakland Raiders have a first down at their own 46-yard line. Explosive game from the very beginning. Steelers scoring on their very first drive. Bradshaw in total control. Steelers leading the Raiders 17-7. Plunkett, play action, and immediately in trouble. He gets away from Robin Cole, and a flag is down as Plunkett throws it away. Now another flag goes down. We'll probably have a call against Plunkett for throwing the ball away, but there was a flag down before that.
Either that or holding right before Plunkett threw the ball away.
Could have been both, but that was an indication of the pressure that... Here we go.
Holding, number 78. Intentional grounding. Offense.
Well, they got both of them. Art Shell, the big man on the left side, number 78. Holding, there he is, all 300 pounds of him. They list him as 280, but I asked some of the Raiders, and they said he's closer to 3.
You all know about Shell, 78, and Upshaw, number 64, and, excuse me, 63. Well, Bealey used to be 64, but Oakland habitually through the years has run left behind those two.
Intentionally grounding, number 16, offense, second down.
That, of course, will be the call. They put it down there. I'll call it. Derek Ramsey comes in at tight end, number 84. Former quarterback, you might remember, from Kentucky. Plunkett again with a lot of time, going high for Cliff Branch, who's in a sprint back there with Mel Blount, and the ball very short. And that will bring up fourth down. Plunkett, not a bad call on third and long yardage. If he gets it picked off, it's going to be picked off way down around the 20-yard line of the opposition. He might draw an interference call with the great speed of Branch, but he gets neither of those situations, so out comes the punting unit.
But a very difficult series for Oakland. They really had to reestablish there to keep the ebb and flow of this game going, and they didn't do it.
This is a weapon that we've talked about many times that Oakland has that no one else really does, and that's Ray Guy, and that does figure in, I think, in the way they call their offense. They know they got a guy that can, hey, they're going to put it out there. Don't take a chance on a 3rd and 20. We got a guy that can punt it 50 yards, 60.
Guy hangs it high, and it is a beauty. This is Theo Bell from the 15-yard line for the Steelers.
Pretty good return.
Bell.
Yes, sir.
There's some Raiders out close to the 30-yard line. He got an additional 7 yards out of that.
That was a fine return.
So Ray Guy busts the big one, and Theo Bell makes a fine return, and the Steelers will have the ball at the 30-yard line. We have 8:24 remaining in the half. Steelers 17, Raiders 7.
Here's Ben Crenshaw lining up his putt. And here, unexpectedly, is Ben's 1981 Buick Century sedan. By ordering white wall tires, tinted glass, chrome-plated wheels, and sport mirrors, the designer's accent paint is included at no additional cost. Or you can pick a padded long vinyl top. Good-looking putt, Ben, and a good-looking car.
Like I always say, I putt for dough, but I drive for show.
See your Buick dealer now for his 81 announcement offer on the new Buick Century.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that Light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, Light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this. For
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
Wednesday, Paris back in action when Charlie's Angels go to prison.
Terrific.
Steelers continue to have their problems. Defensive end John Banaszak now smiling at us from the bench. Banaszak, we are told, has a sore shoulder. We don't know that he'll get back into the lineup. Franco Harris did not start tonight. We were told he could play if he had to. He has a slight strain of knee ligaments. And Jack Lambert, the middle linebacker, has already come out of the game for the Steelers. But the Steelers leading the Raiders 17-7. Bradshaw brings them up, first down and 10. The ball at the 29-yard line of the Steelers. Bradshaw again with all the time in the world, and the turnover is Ted Hendricks. Big Ted Hendricks, who, well, he just keeps moving along like Old Man River, seems to get better every year, now in his 12th year.
Man is unbelievable. 1971, clearly the best defensive player in the league when he teamed up with Rudy May and Mike Curtis, the year the Colts won the Super Bowl 16-13 over Dallas. You look at the replay, Bradshaw made a mistake.
I think he did. You'll have to wonder how in the world. Look, you saw Hendricks trying to lateral there, but you'll have to wonder if, you know, if Terry just didn't see him, because he looked like to me he threw it right in there where he is. So once again, he's thrown at least one interception every game for the last 12 also.
Important turnover for the Raiders. They're down 17-7. They have the ball inside the 40-yard line of the Steelers. This is Kenny King.
Wow, there's your Donnie Shell.
Leveled by Donnie Shell and Jack Ham.
But that turnover was exactly what Oakland needed to get back into the swim of it. And what have we got, Frank? 7:57 and counting down in the second quarter.
Ticking away. The Oakland Raiders, of course, 3-3 of the Western Division of the AFC. San Diego has a 5-2 lead. Oakland would like to win tonight to stay one game behind San Diego and tied with the Seattle Seahawks of Jack Patera. Second down and 9. Pittsburgh, of course, on top of the Central Division of the AFC.
They're sure scoring. Look at that. Here they come again.
Plunkett dancing, trying to get rid of the football. He throws it up over the extended arms of Raymond Chester. Incomplete. It'll be third down and 9. Donnie Shell was in there from a safety position, blitzing Jim Plunkett.
1 for 7 for 8.
That's it. Dangerous throw, bad statistics for Jim, and yet perhaps misleading. Give him protection. I think you'll see the old Plunkett.
But
he's proved it.
You're also seeing a really strong pressing defense. They are lining up the way you see his stats from a week ago, and that was a good statistical game for him on TD. But tonight, I think he's going to see that kind of pressure all night long. He's got to hit real quick passes to get him off of it.
Third down, 9. Plunkett out of the pocket and fires into the end zone.
Yeah.
Close to it is Chandler. Bob Chandler goes up at the 1-yard line, and he was wrestled down by Mike Wagner, number 23, short of the end zone, and Oakland is threatening.
There was Chandler, the gifted veteran, who has an uncanny way of being loose.
It's J.T. Thomas is the guy back there, number 24, who misjudges this. You'll see him come into the screen. He's working on Wagner, cuts to the inside, made a good move on Wagner, left him out there.
He really did.
Into the screen, she comes right now. Is an ill-timed jump. You saw Thomas had position, but it was off balance. The ball was thrown. I think maybe Plunkett's move to the line of scrimmage froze him a little bit because just dropped over there. Right there, first and goal on the 1.
Set to go, first and goal. 2 tight ends are in. Short yardage offense for the Raiders. Van Egan coming up short. Bottom of that pile is Dirk Winston, Dennis Winston, who is playing for the injured Jack Lambert. They don't lose all that much, as great as Jack Lambert is with Winston, a middle linebacker, except he is really questionable. He has been missing games because of a sprained back.
I think they lose in another area, though, Frank. Lambert is the guy that do. Yeah, there's Tom Flores on the sideline, but Lambert's the guy that really does kind of hold that defense together. He's a screamer and a yeller, and they all look to him for that, I think, very important leadership role.
Lambert on the sidelines, of course. Second and goal. And Kenny King. And you saw Robin Cole, number 56, saying, no, he did not get in. Indeed, he did not. It'll be third down. And keep in mind, they had a first and goal from the 1, and Flores looking on almost in disbelief.
You know, Flores has been perhaps taken too lightly as a coach because everybody knows of Al Davis's dominance at Oakland, and yet they always took Madden, a great coach, too lightly. They only realized how great he was when he left, and I've got a feeling that Flores is being taken too lightly too, Don.
Certainly not inexperienced because he's been coaching for quite a while, just not as a head coach.
Third and goal. Kenny King, he is piled up. He tried to make a second surge. He does not get into the end zone, and decision time now for the Oakland Raiders. It'll be fourth down.
What do you do, Don?
There's no decision. You got to go, and if you don't make it, Pittsburgh's still 99 yards away. They got to get some points in order. I think 3's not enough right now. They can see Pittsburgh's been moving that ball up there. They got to have 6.
They're on the edge of the goal line.
Gotta go.
Todd Christensen, number 46, a gifted athlete, a Dallas discard of a year ago, comes in with the play from the bench.
Christensen would not play tight end for Landry. Absolutely refused. He's agreed with Oakland. Davis thinks he's got a great future.
Either that or another career. And the man with the ball is Van Egan. The Steelers, Joe Green, says no. They did not get in, and this has got to be a great lift for the Steelers defense because they have been much maligned. He's coming into this game. Oh, they do give it to him.
I imagine he made it on his own. They just couldn't get in there and see, but he's got that ball right there on the goal line.
He went in like a groundhog, and we've got some football game.
There is hesitancy on the part of the officials, and all of a sudden we get the call. Van Egan, let's look again.
I still think, Frank, that Steeler defense, you can see him pushing in there. It's hard to tell from this angle, but that ball's on the goal line. But still, they held him. They made him go 4 times for 1 yard, so that's still a pretty good indication that defense is strong.
Well, what the whole series proves, fellas, is you can't give Oakland an inch. One Bradshaw mistake, the turnover, the Hendricks intercept, we've got a ball game.
Chris Barr on for the conversion. Oakland set to draw within 3. Nevertheless, still a great defensive effort on the part of the Steelers down there. First and goal, the Raiders had it at the 1. It took them 4 downs to get in. And Oakland moves to within 3 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we have 5:22 remaining in the first half. Tough football game. Van Egan just squeaking in for the Oakland touchdown. We'll be back.
In business, starting small and thinking big is no problem. With the Lanier No Problem typewriter, you'll have no problem getting typing back faster. No problem adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, growing, and achieving success. Now that calls for the No Problem shared system, a family of No Problem typewriters working together.
Think big, it's no problem.
It does more than just type.
Lanier today, no problem tomorrow.
It's no secret that some people are just a little careless, and that's bad enough. But when they push up the cost of your business insurance, that's adding insult to injury. So if the other guy is running up your insurance, see your independent Safeco agent for help. For quality business insurance on just about anything you own, build, or drive. After all, it's the people we don't insure that make Safeco such a good deal for those we do.
Saturday on NCAA college football, a doubleheader afternoon of the best in collegiate action at a special early time. Check local listings for the NCAA games in your area, starting at 12 Eastern, live on ABC.
Ted Hendricks got the turnover for Oakland. Jim Plunkett scrambling out of the pocket. Found Chandler for a 37-yard pickup at the 1 on 4th down. Van Egan goes in for the score. The Steelers leading now by 3. Chris Barr hits it. Frank Pollard in his own end zone looks it over, and he better get on it. Which he does. It'll be a touchback, and the Steelers will begin at the 20-yard line.
You're right, Frank. He better get on it. It's amazing how, through all of the years, the most experienced players forget the rules. They'll let a ball get away in the end zone. Bang, touchdown for the other team.
It has happened that time. Of course, Pollard in the end zone covered it. And the Steelers will start at their own 20-yard line.
Remember you were with me at the NYU-Georgetown game at Yankee Stadium in '36 when Augie Gaylord...
I know you were burping me. Here we go. 2 bitter rivals in the AFC. This is Russell Davis. And Davis goes for 4, but a flag is down.
Man. They're really getting caught up in those penalties tonight over there, aren't they?
By the way, Bradshaw's gone from 8 of 11 in the first quarter to 9 of 13. So he was 1 for 2 so far in this quarter. Vast difference.
2 for 2 if you count the one to Hendricks.
Holding, number 52, offense.
Mike Webster, his 3rd call of the night at center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it backs the Steelers back to the 10-yard line.
This usually is the Steelers' great quarter. That graphic includes tonight, but not tonight.
1st down and 20. Bradshaw will have to be careful. I don't think that word's in his vocabulary.
That's a good one right there.
Screen.
Oh, is that pretty?
Goes to the tight end, Benny Cunningham.
Beautiful.
Cunningham gets a block. And Cunningham out for a first down over the 30-yard line. No flags down on this one. Dave Browning made the save there. Beautifully set up screen. And you don't see screens in pro football much anymore because of the reading defenses, and that was a beautiful one.
It's kind of an unusual one too, Frank. Even, you know, the tight ends, when you see a screen, more likely than not, it will be to that back. But Cunningham moved out. They did have a good one. He cut back. You'll see Browning, number 73, coming in from his defensive end position, and that almost was a saving tackle.
I got to tell you, Cunningham is cutting the mold of Casper and Francis. He really is.
The block that got the first down was by Greg Hawthorne. Bradshaw, happy to be out from the shadow of his goal post. On 1st and 10, goes to the air once again. And a diving catch, a good catch. No, they say he was out of bounds. Theo Bell. No, they give it to him. Out to the 47-yard line.
That was a good catch. Again, Terry had excellent time to throw. Look at Theo come back in. He sees the ball a little bit low and behind him. Again, great concentration. He's inside when he catches that. Looks like that ball bounced to the outside. Let's give it to him.
I got to tell you, Don, Bradshaw is amazing. He doesn't know the word fear. He doesn't know the word conservatism. Okay, you scored on us. We'll come right back.
That's what you're supposed to do when you get the ball. Hey, so I'll take it. It's our time now.
Bradshaw has manipulated the Steelers from their own 10 out to their 47-yard line, and again on first down to the air. Underthrows Jim Smith, the intended receiver, feeling a little bit of pressure coming from a blitzing Matt Millen, the rookie from Penn State, number 55.
I don't know what Paterno does up there at State College, but there is no human being who has ever lived who has had a way with the development of linebackers like Joe Paterno.
Millen didn't even play linebacker all that much for him up there. It's kind of a new position for him, but he weighs 260 pounds, and that's the kind of the type of middle linebacker you think of. He's 6 foot, a little over 6 foot, 260.
And he has 2 interceptions, so we know he can get back in the pass coverage. On 2nd and 10, Hawthorne, right side, stacked up defensively. Quickly up there was Mike Davis, turning it to the inside where Ted Hendricks, number 83, met the charge of Greg Hawthorne. There will be a loss of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
That was an interesting call.
Yeah, except, you know, they made that a couple of times. They get them in that 3-man front, and if you can get on the outside, then you've got to have some really good pressure to come back up. What they caught was Oakland in the blitzing sort of a defense, closed them in.
Rocky Blyer comes in. He's a good receiver. He wears number 20, of course, and 3 wide receivers are in for Bradshaw on the 3rd and 12. Calvin Sweeney in there, number 85, with Jim Smith and Theo Bell.
Little blitz. Here they come. Look out.
Bradshaw will go down at the 35-yard line. Cedric Hardman was there, and they bobbled the ball, and sprinting towards the end zone, number 53, that's Rod Martin.
And they
the
got
Raiders have turned it around, and Bradshaw is shaken up. Bradshaw, who was sacked by Cedric Hardman, coughed up the ball. Rod Martin picked it up, went into the end zone, and the Raiders are on top.
Things were going along so smoothly. All of a sudden, he got a lot of pressure from the outside. I hope it's no more than just having the breath knocked out of him. Let's see if we can take another look at it.
They forced Bradshaw out of the pocket and watched number 86, Cedric Hardman.
There he's got him.
He's had a career at doing that.
And there is a handoff from Willie Jones to Rod Martin.
That's
and
good
Martin
thinking.
takes it in. The story at the moment, a stunned stadium looking on their feet. As Bradshaw is still on the carpet.
If this had happened yesterday, it would have been our most unusual play at halftime. Look at this.
Well, you saw, John Cole, that's a tough lick, man. John Kolb is the guy number 55. Bradshaw is still down. Kolb is playing for his first game in, about, I think, 4 or 5 weeks.
On
I
the
couldn't tell.
It's Cliff Stout warming up as Bradshaw continues to be prostrate on the carpet.
Did you think he fell on his shoulder?
Very well have been. He's wearing a different mask tonight because he tried to punt. They thought he might have to punt tonight, and he's not wearing the mask that he ordinarily wears because last week when he had to punt, he could not see the football when he dropped it, so he has a much smaller mask, and the treatment appears to be to his head.
Well, he's also wearing a flak jacket. He's holding his arm there,
Left
though.
arm, and now
That's
he's
what
holding.
he's doing.
He's had some problems with both arms. He's had operations on that arm. He's had an operation on the right elbow.
There's a limit to what even this great Steeler team can take in the way of injuries, and certainly there's no way they can lose a Bradshaw. He got hit from the back and from the front simultaneously.
Well, it might be his hand or his wrist is what they're holding very gently. And talking to his wife, JoJo, yesterday, she says, I really can't stand to watch him play. He gets so nervous, so upset. And she immediately recalled that really a very potentially severe injury that he suffered a few years ago, I mentioned earlier, in Cleveland when Joe Jones tackled him. She said, I can't take it. Well, he's at least moving his hand. That's a pretty good sign right there.
But again, in terms of the game action, this is what Oakland can do to you. And the youngster from Youngstown, following in the footsteps of Ron Jaworski of the Eagles, Cliff Stout will get his shot, and he can play.
He's one with the unusual statistic of qualifying for the pension before ever playing it down.
Recapping the play. Fumble by Bradshaw, picked up by Willie Jones, lateral to Rod Martin. He rumbled 34 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. Chris Barr puts it through the uprights, and the Raiders lead the Steelers 21-17. Bradshaw's on the bench, and there is Rod Martin, fourth-year man out of USC. It actually started tonight in place of an injured Jeff Barnes. That's his first pro touchdown. We'll look again. The pressure coming on the blitz, and then Cedric Hardman, number 86, will sack Bradshaw. Comes Hardman. For so many years with the 49ers was a great pass rusher. Down goes Bradshaw. Does not fall on his left shoulder.
No,
that appears to be the one that's damaged. The pickup there by Willie Jones, the quick lateral to Rod Martin. Very heads-up play, but that is what has characterized the Oakland Raiders for so many years. Not to mention this. Hard-charging defensive unit. We'll get word as quickly as we can about the condition of Terry Bradshaw. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back. Terry has a history of leaving ball games and coming back.
Well, let's hope so.
We have 3:05, Frank, in the second quarter. Great football game.
Chris Barr will kick off for the Oakland Raiders. This is Frank Pollard. Again in his end zone, and this time he'll bring it out. And Pollard banged at the 15-yard line. Down goes a flag. He was hit high and hit often.
That flag came from a referee about 15 or 20 yards away. But, you know, I thought I might have seen a face guard thing just as he was getting ready to go down. Let's wait and see. Terry's going into the dressing room. Seems to be walking all right, but he is still holding that left arm.
And the penalty will be walked off against the Oakland Raiders.
Offside on the kickoff, face mask on the return.
Offsides on the kickoff, face mask on the return.
Talking about Pollard from Baylor while we got a moment. Pollard broke a jaw his senior year, didn't play very much, and when the year before, when the Steeler scouts had gone to Baylor, Hawthorne had a very similar experience. He came in as a defensive player, moved to a wingman, then finally played running back for Baylor, broke his hip against Ohio State, third game of his senior year, so they were down looking at Hawthorne, and they noticed Pollard. The guy also didn't play that much.
Cliff Stout comes into the ball game. Don already told you he went 56 games, never seeing any action. He came in this year against the Chicago Bears, played well. He was 5 of 8 with 70 yards, had a 9-yard touchdown pass to Franco Harris. 5th-round draft pick in 1977 out of Youngstown State. Hands off to Russell Davis, and Davis pounds out to the 26-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Rod Martin made the stop defensively for Oakland.
Now they can't make another mistake. Suddenly, Pittsburgh has fallen into the habit of mistakes. The intercept by Hendricks on Bradshaw, then the sack, the fumble. Quickly, Oakland had taken the lead. And that's the way they lost twice to Cincinnati, and nobody knows it better than Chuck Noll.
Cliff Stout in a pressure position. The Raiders leading the Steelers 21-17. First pass of the night, fires a complete to Randy Grossman over the middle, and Stout is His first attempt picks up a first down at the Steelers out to the 35-yard line.
You see the crowd react to what they thought was a little bit late interference there from Matt Millen.
We're down to the 2-minute warning. Chuck Noll has not been happy with the Steelers this year. Obviously not pleased with tonight. We'll be back in a moment.
Introducing an important step ahead. Chevy's new 1981 Special Economy truck. Compared to Toyota's 1980 small-size pickup, Chevy's full-size pickup has more load space. Chevy has a roomier cab. But surprisingly, Chevy has the same EPA mileage estimate as Toyota with an even better highway rating. And with its larger gas tank, Chevy goes further between fill-ups. More load space, roomier cab, equal mileage, longer range. Amazing. Chevy trucks, an important step ahead.
When I was a kid working this old gas pump, I never thought I'd be back here telling you that Pennzoil saves gasoline. But now, that same Pennzoil that protects your engine saves you gas. Pennzoil has added gas savings to their regular multi-weight oils, and they've done it at their regular price. That way, more people can afford to save gas.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
Cliff Stout picks up a little intelligence from head coach Chuck Noll. Noll sends Stout back into the lineup, and one of the things that has concerned Noll has been the Steelers sometimes almost going into dreamland, if you will. They get complacent, they get a little blasé, and all of a sudden they cough the ball up. They've fumbled more than any other team in pro football this year, 22 times. They've lost 9 of them. Defensively, they came into tonight with only 9 sacks. However, tonight they have been able to pressure Plunkett. But the turnovers have really hurt them, and they now trail 21-17. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the Steelers with their full complement of 3 timeouts, the Raiders with 2. Here comes the blitz. Stout has to get rid of it, and that's what you do with a young, inexperienced quarterback. It was Rod Martin in there defensively, one of the charging Oakland Raiders. 1:55 on the clock.
You look at an inexperienced quarterback. He's got a rookie running back and a second-year running back there with him. As you see Rob Martin on the side. Those things hurt because that's the young mistakes in blocking and picking up blocking assignments. That time, somebody's supposed to pick up that linebacker company, and they didn't make it.
2nd down and 10. Raiders stay in the 3-4, but they can bring them all from that defense. Stout. Back, firing into the hands of Hendricks once again. Pass intended for Smith, and Hendricks has another turnover, and the ball close to midfield, and Oakland will have 2 timeouts, 1:45 remaining in the first half to extend their lead.
Oh, boy. Frank couldn't have told you at a better time about the constancy of Pittsburgh mistakes. He was talking primarily about fumbles, and yet this kind of thing has plagued them too. Because in every game, as we take an end zone look that Terry has played, he has had both a touchdown pass and an intercept. Now this is Stout with an intercept that should give Oakland, with any luck, field goal position to add another score before the end of the half.
Things that those numbers didn't say about Hendricks, and Stout's never played against him, is that he's 6'7". And Stout could not get it over him. Oakland has the football, midfield. Plunkett on first down. Fires for Van Egan. He was well covered, does not hold on to the football. Jack Ham was there along with Donnie Shell.
Well, that was an ill-advised play, Frank, because then Jim could have been picked off, and that would have been an easy reverse score.
Plunkett's record, 32 of 67 thus far this season. That's the Raiders' Monday night record. They have been the best. Absolutely the best we've had.
Even in Houston, when Meredith said we're number 1.
Right. 1:40 on the clock. 2nd down 10. Plunkett again to the air. That's it. Fires complete. Goes out to his running back, Kenny King. Wisely steps out of bounds, stops the clock, but short of the first down. Down around the 43-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Moving Blunt defensively for the Steelers. Now they mark it at the 45.
Possibly moving into the field goal area, and we've mentioned earlier the Barr brothers are the kickers for the respective teams tonight. If there is a word on the two Barr brothers. Chris seems to have the stronger of the two legs, and he booted.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think he will have the range.
He reached one from 55 with Cincinnati a year ago, and Oakland let him try one from 61 this year. 3rd down, 7. Plunkett steps into the pocket.
Look out.
Firing deep is
Look out.
for Bradshaw. Touchdown, and Jim Plunkett again in trouble. Steps back into the pocket, and Morris Bradshaw comes up with 6.
We told you at the beginning of the telecast that Plunkett is back. We told you when he was 1 for 7, the figures were deceptive. Yes, Jim Plunkett is back.
That here to me is the key. Watch Plunkett right here under pressure. Good strong move. Oops, to the inside. That last little second gave him time. And Bradshaw's going right down the middle. Actually, the ball was thrown over the other shoulder, but Morris Bradshaw made a pretty good adjustment.
One of the toughest things a receiver can do.
Sure is, but touchdown, touchdown.
Oakland looked like it was going to be a Steeler runaway in the first quarter. And Oakland, utilizing the turnover, has taken a commanding lead. They lead 28-17. 1:22 remaining in the first half, and this crowd, capacity crowd, is stunned. They really are. First, their quarterback has gone to the dressing room, Bradshaw. Their #1 defensive player, Jack Lambert, is out of the lineup. Banaszak is out of the lineup. That's only coupled with all the other injuries they came into this game with.
Yeah, we mentioned the stalwart Swan and Franco Harris.
Bruised shoulder on Terry Bradshaw. There's Franco Harris. And if this continues, which now obviously will obtain at halftime, you will probably see Franco in the next half out of necessity.
Franco Harris, he is the leading rusher ever on Monday Night Football. He's given us 6 100-yard games out of 13. And of course, he's hobbled by a knee, which he injured last week against Cincinnati. Not too severely injured. They said he could play if he had to. Chris Barr bangs it for the Raiders. Frank Pollard from the 2-yard line. And Pollard out over the 20-yard line, collected there by Otis McKinney, a real terror on the special teams for the Oakland Raiders. 1:17 remaining. Steelers have 3 timeouts, and they are in trouble.
One of the changes you'll see in the offense is that from now, those plays will be called from the sideline. Bradshaw calls his own plays. They've got an experienced quarterback, so the coaches say, hey, we'll do that. Try to take a little bit of the pressure off of you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I have to suspect that maybe Chuck Noll sent word in, or talked to Cliff Stout and said, let's cool it off for a minute. Let's run this football, get ourselves in the locker room, pull our act together. But that, again, not the case. Stout right up on top.
Well, he got him wide.
Fires. Bell has the ball out to the 47-yard line. Burgess Owens made the stop. And the Steelers trying to conserve their timeout. Seconds ticking away. 1 minute now remaining in the first half. The Steelers have 3 timeouts. Stout hands off to Russell Davis. Wants to make sure that the Oakland Raider defense is thinking that he will run the football. Davis steps out of bounds wisely at the 46-yard line, stops the clock with 48 seconds remaining in the half.
Thought he was going to lose yardage behind the line of scrimmage. Then I thought, well, he certainly won't get out of bounds. He eluded about 3 tacklers and not only got out of bounds, but picked up a good solid 7.5, 8 yards.
He did both. They're not far from field goal position, but remember, even with a field goal, they will still trail by 8 points. Still, it would be a healthy thing to have.
Smith right, 86. Theo Bell out of your shot, bottom of the screen. Randy Grossman is in the slot. Stout has the time, dumps it off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne gets the first down, but the Steelers will have to utilize a timeout, killing the clock with 38 seconds remaining in the half. Rod Martin defensively up there to make the stop on Hawthorne. So the Steelers will have 2 timeouts as young Cliff Stout, not so young in age, but certainly young in experience.
Well, he really is only 25 years old, but you're right. That time, I think maybe with a little bit more experience, he would have gone ahead and run that ball to the sideline himself and could have stopped the clock. Throwing it into the inside, they kept him from going out of bounds, so they used one of their timeouts.
Tom Flores.
Tom Flores, yep.
The turnovers, Ted Hendricks with a couple of interceptions. The fumble recovery by Jones, the lateral to Rod Martin. and the Raiders are playing their kind of football.
Frank, you mentioned the height that Hendricks has, and I think that's really
the stalk.
Well, you know, 6'7". Quarterbacks are not really used to working, and you know, you're going to drop it over the linebacker's head, maybe 6'2", but 6'7", and he's got those long arms.
Would you believe he came out of Miami into the pros? They said he's too frail.
Too frail or what?
Frail,
Right.
not fragile, frail. And boy, could he hit.
How frail he is. This is his 165th
That's
consecutive
right.
game that he's played in.
Oh, he's a great player.
And how about that statistic right there? That's another one, talking about his height. An NFL record.
And the night's not over.
That's right.
He may be playing till he's 50.
No, I don't think so. He's got other plans.
First and 10, the Steelers. 2 timeouts remaining. 38 seconds on the clock. They're down 28-17. The ball inside the 40-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. Stout. Look out. Looking into a crowd for Theo Bell, and Bonnie Jackson almost came up with it for the Oakland Raiders.
Bad play.
Well, that's looking at the intended receiver for the entire time of the route, and he had his eye on him all the way, and that does draw a crowd. You see about 4 or 5 of those Oakland Raiders walking back, and Theo Bell was the only one there.
Oakland, of course, in their prevent defense with their extra defensive back end.
What would you say, 20 yards they need for a really good attempt at a...
No.
Okay, 15.
That's it, at most. They could even do it with 10.
Second down, 10. 32 seconds remaining in the half. Stout dumps it off to Blyer.
There it is.
Blyer pulls inside the 25 to the 22. Tackled by Ted Hendricks, and immediately time is called by the Steelers. 24 seconds remaining on the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining. Stout moves over to chat once again with Chuck Knoll.
Now they got it, Gift. They must not give the ball up from their point of view. There can't be a mistake now because clearly they've got field goal range.
I think it's more than just a coincidence that a guy named Rocky Blyer happens to show up in a situation like that. You know, you think, well, what's happening? And all of a sudden, here comes number 20, come trotting out of the backfield or running off tackle or doing something. He seems to wind up at the right place a lot of times.
We did his first Monday night game ever, Don. I don't know if you remember, but it's a scene in his movie, Fighting Back, when he comes out for the first time. Nobody ever thought he'd even be on the Steelers. It was a very touching moment in his life.
There's a real powwow on the sidelines right there. They're saying, all right, fella, now here's what we're going to do. Can you imagine all the things that are going through his head right now? Backup quarterbacks.
He's cool, though, Donnie. He's got a great sense of humor.
He
really
does.
Is.
And he can really throw the ball, too. I was at it. I tell you, they've got another good one, too. They drafted Mark Malone.
I can't believe they got him drafting last.
Well, he's the first quarterback the Steelers have taken in the first round.
He's a great athlete. This is exactly why Frank and I
in 1970.
may buy a team. We're not happy with the way these clubs are being run. Isn't that right, Frank?
Yes. Better check into your bank account.
What about yours?
Well, Mark Malone can throw. I was going to
combine them. The two of us, we could buy one player.
All right, the ball is at the 22-yard line. 24 seconds remaining in the first half. Raiders leading the Steelers 28-17. The Steelers have 1 timeout. Inside handoff. Hawthorne gets inside the 15 to the 13. Stout wants to use the final timeout with 17 seconds remaining. Not quite sure that he should not have tried to get a play off. But he does not, and he moves over to the sidelines. I remind you about college football coming your way this Saturday right here on ABC. We have a regional doubleheader beginning live at 12 Eastern, and it'll be matching Illinois at Michigan, plus we'll have Dartmouth at Cornell, Missouri at Kansas State, Maryland at Duke, Jackson State at Grambling, Florida State at Memphis State. So check your local listings for the game and the time in your area, and stay tuned for Navy versus Washington, plus of course other regional action. So the 2 key games, Illinois at Michigan and Navy against Washington. And for those of you in the Michigan area planning to attend the Illinois-Michigan game, the start time has been moved from 1 o'clock to 12:30. Cliff Stout chewing the fat with the boys over in the bench.
They have no more timeouts.
He ripped up a lot of Ron Jaworski's records when he was at Youngstown State. And we know what Jaworski is doing. They have taken over top billing in the Eastern Division of the NFC.
That's true, but I think this kid is terrific, Don. I think he's going to be a great quarterback.
I haven't seen him play, you know, really very much at all. Well, no one else has either, but I did, as I watched him work out a little bit, and he does have a good, strong arm. I always wanted to be that 6'4", weigh about 220, have a good, strong arm. Wouldn't that be
big, thick calves?
Yeah, big, thick calves. That blonde, curly hair.
Keep in mind, Steelers have no timeouts. 17 seconds on the clock. Second down and about a yard to go. Ball resting at the 12-yard line. Stop. Fires, and it's down to the 1-yard line. And Smith tries to put it in the end zone.
What an effort.
And now they're saying there's some ranting and raving about this one.
There will be.
Now, how do you like that, Cliff Stout?
I like Smith.
Did he come through? What a game this is.
I'll tell you, that sets up the second half. Cliff Stout, very cool. He had no timeouts. I'm surprised, really, that Chuck Noll would let him do that. But he found Jim Smith, who's just been spectacular in relief of Stallworth. Stallworth, of course, hurt in the second game of this season. And Smith gets it in the end zone. Touchdown, and out comes Matt Barr. 10 seconds remaining in the half.
What an effort by Smith to get that ball on the goal line.
That was unbelievable.
He went to about 6'8" to get it in there. Barr brings it close. The Steelers now down by 4 as they battle back without their top defensive player, Jack Lambert, without their top quarterback, Terry Bradshaw.
Without Stallworth, without Lynn Swan.
And on and on.
It's unbelievable.
Let's just take another look, because I think Frank had a couple of good points. I'm a little surprised they try to play it this close to the line. But I think they'll be talking about this for a long time. Is this a touchdown? You see, he's hit really pretty good. And now the stretch comes. Now the stretch. He says it's over there.
I love it.
You got to give it to him. That was McKinney.
They won't take that one away. No. Second touchdown of the night. 8th for the season.
You never had the shot when you played for Schembechler. He didn't throw.
What a football game.
That guy's got to really be happy. Think what that does for his little state of confidence right now, coming in to try to replace Terry Bradshaw.
I love that Stout. I think he's going to be a great one. I really do, Don.
Well, it's all happening tonight. Matt Barr put it up on the tee, and it promptly fell off.
Yeah, I think he liked it. He said, yeah, oh, that's so much fun.
Matt Barr to kick off. 10 seconds remaining in the half. Ira Matthews, Arthur Whittington, and it'll be Whittington from the 12-yard line. And Whittington knuckles under at the 25-yard line. 5 seconds remaining. Randy Grossman down there defensively for the Steelers. Boy, I'll tell you, there's going to be some action in the second half. You can just sense it.
I wonder, what is it, 52 points in the first half. We ever had anything like this on Monday night?
This could be the highest scoring Monday night game in history. We'll follow it closely. First year, second game. Kansas City 44, Baltimore 24. Then we had an Oakland-Denver game. Then we had a Kansas City game, another Kansas.
That's no notes, folks.
No notes.
Van Egan, left side. As Oakland content to run out the clock, which they do. And a wild and woolly first half ends with the Raiders on top, 28-24. Stick around for this one. It's going to be interesting. Both teams leaving for the locker room. Also stick around for halftime activities. Some of the top plays from the NFL coming your way very shortly. Right now, this message and a word from our local stations.
Willie Rawls, utility man. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
From the top man right down to the bottom man. It just passes right down the line. Everybody pushes for quality. Yeah, the people on the line, we get along very good. They have a lot of interest in the cars. If I go out to buy a car, that's where I go, looking for a General Motors car. Because I'm right there in the plant and I see how they're built, you know, see the quality that goes into them.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
Eastern's Transcon is a brand new way to fly between New York and California. How are we doing on this special new Eastern service?
I've been coast to coast more than once on other carriers. It'll match the best.
As the new boy on the block, they're doing a good job.
Everybody was friendly, which is very unique on airplanes nowadays.
I just think that Eastern's trying hard to please, and they're succeeding.
Eastern's Transcon, the newest example of our commitment to personal service.
I think it's a great airline. I wasn't paid to say that either, by the way.
Now, the Firestone Trax 12 steel-belted radial with deep grooves and biting edges that give you traction when you need it and smooth, quiet running when the turnpike's dry. Traction 12 months a year. The Firestone Trax 12. Best of all, the long-lasting Trax 12 is Firestone's lowest-priced steel-belted white wall radial. Check your paper today for Trax 12 prices.
Friday. They're coming from another world. Nothing will be the same.
People are being duplicated.
All they want is your body.
It's happening now.
They're coming. Invasion of the body snatchers.
Drilling for oil and gas along the Gulf Coast costs big money. That's why you need Milchem. We provide professional drilling fluids planning and tech service reps who care about results. A complete line of solids control equipment and delivery when and where you need it. That's Milchem. After all, we're the leader in patented drilling fluid products and well site technology. How'd you much check them out on that?
The Supreme Court agrees. A lower court ruling will stand, making the St. Mary Parish transient worker law unconstitutional. More on Acadiana Update.
This is KATC TV3 Lafayette.
We're back live at Three Rivers Stadium. The halftime score in an absolutely spectacular game. Oakland 28, the Steelers 24. Now we go to our new set of halftime features. The most unusual, the most dramatic, the greatest key plays in yesterday's action, as picked by our producer and our director. Tonight's halftime features are being brought to you by Merrill Lynch, whose ability to guide you through the intricacies of investing makes them a very special breed apart. The outstanding quarterback and receiver on the day, both with the Chargers, Dan Fouts, quarterback, Charlie Joyner, wide receiver. The hapless Giants at San Diego. And this was the way the action went. Look at those stats on Fouts. 444 yards on the day and a touchdown pass to Charlie Joyner. 10 receptions, 171 yards on the day. Fouts not only broke his own record for passing, but look at that one right there to John Jefferson. Kellen Winslow, the great young tight end, and Jefferson and Joyner, 100 yards all on the day. The outstanding running back, Earl Campbell of the Houston Oilers, as Houston did away with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Astrodome. Earl had his first 200-yard game ever, and this was his longest run of the day, 28 yards down the left side. There are the stats. Curtis Jordan finally downed him. He was an unstoppable runner all day long. This another evidence. Watch him break Cedric Brown's tackle. That was 34 of the opposition team. Earl Campbell, the most unusual play of the day in the same game, and it involved Danny Reese and Cedric Brown and also Earl Campbell. The Bucs trailing 20-7 in the fourth quarter. Stable to Campbell. Campbell in for a short gain, and then he lost the ball. Reese picked it up, and then lateral to that man, Cedric Brown, number 34. He went 80 yards for the touchdown behind the blocking of David Logan. So that had to be the most unusual play of the day. But not a happy day, despite that play, for Tampa Bay.
Picking and choosing the right investments requires very careful handling. One wrong move can easily damage the best laid plans. At Merrill Lynch, we know that size and strength can be very valuable. But it is our sensitivity to your investment goals and agility in helping you reach them that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
The pass of the day. Vince Evans of the Chicago Bears, James Scott, the man the Jets didn't want of the Chicago Bears. It happened in Chicago's 24-7 upset of Detroit. It happened this way. Evans, a brilliant athlete from USC, throwing deep downfield. The defender half slipping, but Scott's too speedy. There it was, the touchdown, and that sparked the upset. Then, the defensive play of the day. A man wearing number 46 named Don Bessalou in the upset of the Dolphins over the Buffalo Bills 17-14. This was the way it happened. Joey Ferguson throwing that little pass to Joe Cribbs, hit, fumbled the ball, Bessalou picked it up, there he went, 44 yards, the touchdown. That got the Dolphins off to the early lead that sparked the upset. Kick return of the day for the hottest team in football, Horace Ivory of the New England Patriots. The Colts were ahead of the Patriots when it happened, 21-17. The Colts themselves, the winners of 3 in a row. And with that lead, they kicked off. Watch Ivory. Watch him closely. That quick burst through the hole. Then cutting half right. Eluding tackler after tackler. All the way downfield. 98 yards. New England went on to their 5th straight win. They're at 6-1 on the year. How about the most dramatic play of the day? It had to be Brian Sipe and Dave Logan of the Browns and their incredible victory over Green Bay. They were in a desperate situation. 25 seconds left in the game, losing 21-20. 3rd and 20 at the pack of 46, and Sipe went to work. To Logan, probably the most underpublicized great player in the league. He caught it on the 19, sped in for the score. Cleveland had won the game. Now let's take another look. Watch Sipe, total blitz put on him by Green Bay. He held together, spotted his receiver, threw it perfectly. Sipe proved himself a year ago, and there was Logan. And I'll tell you, this Cleveland team has a way of coming back. They stay in the chase. They have won 4 of their last 5 games. And so, in the very tough AFC Central, a critical victory.
Reaching your financial goal is never as simple as some people would have you believe. You have to know exactly where you're going and make the right decisions at the right time. At Merrill Lynch, it's our skill at guiding you through the intricacies of investing that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
We're at halftime here at Pittsburgh, a wildly offensive game between the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oakland on top 28-24 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's take a look at some of the action as it took place. Let's pick up the action with Pittsburgh on top 17-14 at this point here in the second quarter. Bradshaw back under pressure. Watch from the right of your screen. Cedric Hardman pursues Bradshaw. He'll come up with the sack. Down goes Bradshaw. Bradshaw is hurt, bruised his elbow, but more importantly, Willie Jones comes up with the ball. And he quickly laterals off to Rod Martin. Rod Martin moves it in, 34-yard touchdown, and the Oakland Raiders all of a sudden are fired up. And then another turnover. Ted Hendricks comes up with another interception. Jim Plunkett. Now watch, Jim Plunkett will feel a lot of pressure. The Steelers coming with their pass rush. Plunkett looking far downfield, steps inside, finds Morris Bradshaw. Another touchdown for the Oakland Raiders. A beautifully thrown ball, splitting the zone was Bradshaw, 45-yard TD. Bradshaw went out of the game. We understand he will come back in the second half. But Cliff Stout, with no timeouts remaining, 17 seconds on the clock, had talked with Chuck Noll, came in, looked for Jim Smith over the middle. Jim Smith at the 1-yard line. Smith catches the football, full concentration, puts the arms out, and the indication, Pittsburgh touchdown. So Pittsburgh came back. They are now trailing by only 4 points here in the second half, and you better believe there's conversation going on in both those locker rooms, particularly the Pittsburgh Steeler locker room where Chuck Noll obviously unhappy and distressed with the second quarter of the Steelers. We'll be back in a moment.
Americans are deeply concerned over the economic failures of the last 4 years. When I became governor of California, we solved many of the same problems America faces today by bringing in a team of elected officials and private citizens. Working together, we cut the rate of government spending and turned a $194 million deficit into a $554 million surplus. We did it once, we can do it again.
The time is now for Reagan. Reagan for president.
Once again at halftime here in Pittsburgh, the score: the Oakland Raiders 28, the Pittsburgh Steelers 24. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealer, who invite you to see all the 81 Buicks from Riviera to Skylark to the new Regal, and by new gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile. Ask for it. And we'll be back with the second half kickoff. But right now, this message from the National Football League, and then a word from our local stations. Stay with us. More action coming up.
This place proves one thing: the vintage years are the best years. With that kind of spirit, it's no wonder we're the city of champions. I'm Steve Furness of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and just look around. These are my kind of people. There's no way these people are going to retire to the sidelines when they have so much going for them. Not only is my friend Velma Payne studying tap dancing at the age of 81, she's just one of a group of 14 dancers called the Vintage Rockettes. But everybody here is involved. And you'll find that spirit is contagious. It's a spirit of United Way. It's the biggest winner in a city of winners. The people of Pittsburgh are behind United Way, and that's why it works here. And thanks to them, it works for all of us, the United Way.
Saturday, it's the season premiere of A Night of Love and Fantasy, when Julie and Gopher fall under the love spell of the Love Boats. Then, on Fantasy Island, Rourke faces the biggest challenge of his career to save Carol Lindley's soul from the devil.
It starts at the Port of Iberia, International Moorings and Marine Offshore Construction Division, where your fabrication projects come to life. From the structure, the process piping, to the electrical and instrumentation, precision and skill that reaches offshore, where IMM's experienced hookup and welding crews install to your exact specification. Onshore fabrication and repair, offshore installation, repair, sandblasting, painting, maintenance. It's all there. IMM, total performance.
This is us. This is JCPenney.
It's JCPenney's at home sale. Save $100 off this MCS Series 35-watt receiver, $100 off this MCS Series 3-way speakers, and $30 off this MCS Series direct drive turntable, $50 off this 19-inch AccuScan color TV during the JCPenney's at home sale, Northgate Mall.
This is JCPenney.
This is KATC, TV3 Lafayette.
Friday, October 31st, the controversial Larry Holmes Muhammad Ali Championship bout. As Larry Holmes silenced the former champion once and for all. Was this the last fight of Ali's career? From the first bell through the final painful aftermath. And live, the WBC World Lightweight Championship. Jim Watt, the pride of Scotland, fights Oklahoma's knockout artist Sean O'Grady. What a fight night. 2 championship bouts Friday, October 31st on ABC.
Back at Three River Stadium, and a wild offensive football show. The Pittsburgh Steelers down by 4 to the Oakland Raiders here at halftime. Interestingly enough, this is the most points we have ever had scored in the first half of a Monday night football game.
And even more interestingly, Frank, look at the differential in time of possession. Overwhelmingly Pittsburgh. First downs overwhelmingly Pittsburgh, but Oakland, with its opportunism, and apparently Terry Bradshaw will be back, though Cliff Stout was wonderful in driving the Steelers to a touchdown as the first half ended. That brought them right back into the thick of things. Interestingly enough, Oakland has taken advantage of every opportunity given to them by Pittsburgh via the turnovers that have plagued the Steelers all season long.
Gift set to go for the second half. Matt Barr will kick off for the Steelers. Ira Matthews is deep, number 43, along with Arthur Whittington. Steelers 4-2 on this young season. If they lose tonight, they fall into a tie with Cleveland and Houston. The Raiders, a win tonight puts them one game behind San Diego in their division, and this is Matthews. Matthews out to the 25-yard line, popped there by Calvin Sweeney. Oakland's first possession. At the beginning of the first half, Pittsburgh took the ball the length of the field to put the first points on the scoreboard. It looked like a Pittsburgh Steeler runaway. And then a couple of turnovers, 2 interceptions by Ted Hendricks. And that really takes care of the time of possession because Oakland struck quickly after both of those. They also scored on a sack of Bradshaw, a fumble, and a lateral from Willie Jones to Rod Martin. There's Cliff Stout, who came in, took the Steelers the length of the field, picked up a touchdown with 17 seconds remaining to bring the Steelers to within 4. Plunkett's the quarterback. The setbacks, Van Egan 30, Kenny King 33. On first down, Plunkett immediately to the air. Fires and is complete to the tight end, Raymond Chester, out close to the 29-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4 at second down and 6. Raymond Chester, originally drafted by the Oakland Raiders after a couple of years, traded to Baltimore, and came back a couple of years ago and had a sensational year a year ago with 58 receptions.
A first-round draft choice by Davis out of Morgan State, and now back, and a key man, and one of the reasons Davis was able to trade Casper.
Important game for these two bitter rivals in the AFC. Oakland trying to catch San Diego. Good hole there. Trying to maintain their lead as Van Egan gets the call and gets up to the 35-yard line, short of the first down by about a foot. Now they mark it at the 34, so it'll be about a yard for the first down. Jack Lambert went out of the action in the first half. Strained knee on the part of Jack Lambert. Of course, he is a bit of an inspirational leader to the entire defensive unit of the Steelers. Great middle linebacker, Jack Lambert. He's on the sidelines. Banaszak also had to leave the action in the first half. He's back in there now, however. Short yardage. Kenny King gets the call, and King breaks a tackle and pops for the first down and still goes. Hey, that guy's a runner. King out to the 44-yard line. First down, Oakland.
Frank, this kid is terrific.
You see a guy like this come from one team. He played behind, as we mentioned earlier, Earl Campbell, but you wonder how many other really outstanding players are on clubs that, yeah, they just don't get a chance to play. But you get him moved in with another club, and he's turned out to be a real standout for him.
Well, they got Kenny King for Jack Tatum and 2 seventh-round draft picks. They originally wanted to draft him, but Houston took him in the 3rd round, Kenny King, a year ago, so Oakland couldn't get to him. Cliff Branch bobbles the ball incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
Don, as a former great quarterback in this league,
thank you.
You've got to be impressed with what Plunkett is doing.
Well, yeah, he has only thrown about, I think that was his 11th pass tonight, and he maybe completed 5. The thing that I'm impressed with is he's held his composure pretty well. And I think one of the things that happened earlier in his career, he kind of got his confidence, he was shaken up a little bit. So I'm glad to see him get that back, establish himself as a frontline quarterback.
Second down and 10. Plunkett looks it over. Ball at the 44-yard line of the Oakland Raiders.